It's coming, football's coming home. It's coming.
Just thought I'd add, the video of Three Lions, the song where that phrase came from, has gone... And yeah, that video has gone up in millions of views in the last few days. It's almost doubled its views in this World Cup, which is incredible. And that's all because England are through to the semi-finals of the World Cup for the first time since 1990. But before I get into all of that, I've been gone for a while. Again. And in that time I've been to the Olympic Park for the first time, saw that giant red thing, had no idea what it was before, now I do, and of course the Olympic Stadium, which is now home to West Ham. Got the bloody tier 100 skin on Fortnite, so that's good. And yes, the World Cup. I've never been so excited about the World Cup before. I'm really enjoying it this year. England have been great. The country went absolutely wild when they won against Sweden. It was hilarious seeing all the Ibrahimovic tweets. He seemed so certain that Sweden would come out on top. And another thing about that, to all those Sweden fans who wish for England to be knocked out and just gave the players unnecessary abuse, I'd just like to give you one of these. And another one for good measure. And that match showed us that it's not just luck. If you're getting this far, then you must be doing something right. And I think what's so great about England this year is that we've got a great bunch of young, exciting players who have great attitude and overcome every setback. And Gareth Southgate, he shows great integrity and honesty. And as the tournament goes on, I trust him more and more. He's done well as a leader, just what England needs in my opinion. So let's take a look at how we got to the semi-finals. We started with Tunisia. Can't remember much from that, but it didn't take a long time for England to get a goal. Kane scored after 10 minutes. Walker's arm caught someone in the face, awarding Tunisia a penalty. They scored. It just wasn't a penalty though. He just walked into his arm for Christ's sake. You can tell Walker didn't purposely elbow him. And if you are going to let that be a penalty, then you have to let Kane have his as well. The amount of times I saw the guy get wrestled to the ground, it's appalling. Moving on, Kane managed to get the ball in with a header in added time, awarding us 3 points on the table. England then moved on to play Panama, a team which had never played in the World Cup before. A very naive team, I must say. Records were broken in that game. Kane got wrestled and eventually Panama lost 6-1. 6-1, I told you, records were broken. They'd be better off playing rugby. This placed us at the top of the table, but we still had Belgium to play. Bit of a gamble going into that game with what was effectively a B team. But at the end of the day, it wasn't the most important game, it wasn't a crucial game. By this point, we were already through to the last 16. And because we lost, we actually got an easier path to the final. So, the Colombia game. Very, very tense. Could barely watch the penalties. Overall, not that enjoyable to watch. Not much happened. What do I think of the Colombia players? They were fucking cheats. Very dirty. 6 yellow cards. Should have just sent them off. Kane got wrestled. I'm really glad they didn't win in the end because they did not deserve it. Really, we should have won 1-0. Very unfortunate that Colombia scored in added time and that we couldn't just play it out. And I think because the England players weren't expecting that, they were knackered by extra time. In the first half of extra time, it looked like it was over. In the second half, we picked it up a bit, but it remained 1-1, which obviously led to the penalties. I have never seen something so close. But Pickford made some great saves, which ultimately put us in the position of winning. World Cup history was made that game. And finally, Sweden. Wasn't as difficult as I expected. England created more chances, they put the pressure on, and they came off the pitch with a clean sheet. Pickford made some amazing saves, best he's played yet. Good performance overall. So then, semi-finals will be facing Croatia on Wednesday. I mean, even How to Basic thought Croatia would win. And you know, if we beat them, then we're through to the final for the first time ever in 52 years. The only other time we've been to the final is 1966, and that is when we won it. I'm not going to be that arrogant English guy who says they're going to win it, because I don't know. Hopefully they will. All I'm going to say is that they can. It's definitely possible. We've seen in this World Cup especially that you cannot predict who's going to do what. There are more talented teams out there that have been knocked out. It's not always the team that can play football the best that win. It all comes down to that 90 minutes. Plus added time, plus half an hour if you get to extra time. But you know what I mean. England have got something which other teams haven't. And that is a huge amount of character and team spirit. We can win. It's coming home. But we'll just have to see what happens. All I'm going to say is, come on England.